with Deborah Norville.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Mary Kelly, and today for Deborah. It's over. One of the biggest manhunts in New York history ended today with the arrest of the suspect cops believe carried out the subway mass shooting that caused utter terror during rush hour. While making his way to New York, the suspect filmed himself in a rented van, clearly full of anger. Les Trent begins our coverage.
They got him. The madman who cops say unleashed havoc on a New York subway train was captured today wandering around Manhattan. The NYPD says tips started pouring in after they released a wanted poster for the suspect, Frank James. A civilian spotted him walking down Canal Street in Lower Manhattan. Another witness saw him at this McDonald's. Police responded to the report that the suspect was inside this McDonald's, but when they got here, he was not inside. They did, however, find him just a few blocks away, and you will not believe what he was doing. Witnesses say the man who allegedly wreaked so much havoc on this city was simply standing right here, charging his phone.
I see the guy. We got the guy, man.
The arrest at 1:42 p.m. was captured on video by multiple bystanders.
You ought to die. You ought to
James is 62 years old, a drifter who posts angry videos on YouTube under the moniker Prophet of Truth.
I am driving.
A day-by-day timeline is emerging from the video diary. Last month, he was living in Milwaukee when he suddenly packed up and drove to Philadelphia.
Heading back into the danger zone, so to speak. And it's triggering a lot of negative thoughts, of course.
From Philadelphia, cops say he rented a U-Haul van and drove to New York. That's the van crossing the Verrazano Bridge in Brooklyn the morning of the subway attack. In this exclusive surveillance video obtained by WCBS, we see a man who looks like Frank James, disguised as a construction worker, walking to the subway to allegedly carry out the bloody assault. Notice he's carrying a tote and wheeling around a bag that police say contained a hatchet, 2 gas canisters, a 9mm handgun with 3 extended magazines. Also, a stash of fireworks that he bought in Wisconsin. And here's the receipt. He paid $14.99 for a 6-pack of smoke bombs.
He was talking to himself the whole time.
Subway passenger Fachin Jalaschi says he was sitting across from the suspect on the N train when the attack commenced.
He was just shooting boom, boom, boom. I was like, whoa, this guy's crazy.
He says the man pointed the gun at him and fired twice, leaving bullet holes in his pants. Only by some miracle was he not hit.
All I gotta say, I'm lucky to live. That's all I'm gonna say. I got really lucky.
Cops say James fired 33 times into the subway car, hitting 10 people. The subway station where the mayhem took place is open today, and as you can see, the platform has been scrubbed clean of blood. The subway attack has not helped New York City's battered image as the city fights rising crime and the pandemic. Real Housewives of New York's Bethany Frankel says she's fed up with the crime.
New York City is not safe.
You've got to take the handcuffs off the police, flood the system, do stop and frisk, and return some civility to this subway system that's our veins and arteries. If you don't, Sean, New York City will never recover.
But today there is relief in the city as the suspect in Tuesday's rush hour nightmare is apprehended.
My fellow New Yorkers, we got it.
And the attack on the subway couldn't have come at a worse time as many workers returned to the office using public transportation. Now, many commuters are asking themselves to ride or not to ride.
Jittery New Yorkers returned to the subways today, but with a wary eye following yesterday's horrific attack. NYPD's counterterrorism unit patrol platforms and checked the trains. The mayor has doubled the police presence on the subway system. But many riders remain uneasy. This passenger says a little prayer as she boards a train.
I'm scared to ride the subway every day.
I generally hate the subway. It's a terrible experience.
Compounding the fear, the revelation that the surveillance system at the 36th Street subway station, scene of yesterday's carnage, was not working. Terrified passengers trying to flee yesterday's gunfire and smoke-filled car found the doors between cars locked. trapping them in place. I went into the subway system with former NYPD Transit Bureau Chief Joe Fox.
It's locked. And they, a lot of them are, because it's very dangerous going between these cars.
Subway and bus crimes, big and small, are spiking. Crimes are up 68% over last year, from brutal assaults to deliberate shoves and general chaos.
Hey, how come you didn't pay a toll?
Despite the crackdowns, the subway is a magnet for the homeless, many of whom are emotionally disturbed. Many of those riding today say they have no other choice. But Joe Fox says there are things to learn from Tuesday's subway horror.
You've been on this train and the shooter's right here, and then you see something going down and you can't get out. As fast as you can. As fast as you can, you run this way. When you get far enough away, if you see a spot to get down, exactly. Right like this, stay down, and then once you go down, stay down. Because he wants to hit people who are standing.
The shooting is sending jitters around the country, and Boston security is now being beefed up for Monday's big marathon.